Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hey, I got this video for you all to watch, so let's go to that there and we'll talk about it on the other side.
President of the United States doesn't read. He doesn't read at all. And so he has this trickle-down incompetence that's going on with his administration. And something unbelievable, breathtaking happened yesterday at a FEMA meeting. Put up this tweet. Reuters reports exclusive. FEMA staff confused after he said he was unaware of U.S. hurricane season. Sources say Ron Filipkowski responds, Trump already fired his first FEMA chief last month. This is the upgrade. So imagine FEMA, when all the natural disasters that we have in the United States, we live in Tornado Alley, then you have hurricane season, wildfires, all of the stuff. And the FEMA director doesn't know there's a hurricane season. I think third graders know this.
Well, what's so interesting about this is the number 2 pick. So how bad was number 1? And here's the thing about Trump. He is withholding FEMA funds. He told us during the campaign that the Biden administration and Kamala Harris were withholding funds, when actuality, he is withholding funds. So he doesn't give a shit if the FEMA director knows, because he doesn't really care about helping people.
There was a tornado in Mississippi, which is deep, deep MAGA country. And there are all of these Trump supporters interviewed, and they're all saying, we haven't seen the feds around here. And he's thumbing his nose at this. This is not something he wants to spend money on. This is not something he wants to get a presidential daily briefing on. Helping his supporters is not his goal. Lying and propagandizing his supporters is the goal. And now I've added a couple of clips here exclusively for Pumps. Pumps and I have a little side hustle where we like to monitor the going-ons of Mike Lindell. So in Trump 1.0, in the last days of his presidency, when he's really trying to not leave the Oval, right? Mike Lindell arrives at the Oval Office every day, and Pumps and I would call each other and be like, Mike Lindell's going in the Oval again. And this is the guy who makes the My Pillow. He makes the My Pillow. He had their advertisement. Has zero expertise on anything other than being a nut and like the top tier cult follower of Donald Trump. Well, he has this trial about lying about all of these machines, these voting machines. And here he is raving on the steps of the courthouse. Play the clip.
But it was also my evidence. So when I come in, I needed that evidence. When you delete evidence, it's like throwing a gun in a river. That's called spoliation in any court case. They threw away my evidence. You think I wasn't upset about that too? But no, I wasn't worried about some court case down the road. I was worried about, I can't believe the cover up that they're covering up our elections starting here in Colorado. That was a...
Okay. So, it's amazing to me, like the whole 2020 and what a fatal blow that was to Trump. He still can't get over it.
No.
He's like the biggest sore loser and also the biggest sore winner, which leads me to the conclusion. Nothing will ever make this man happy. I mean, he has major mommy and daddy issues. His inner child, little Donald, is just, so stunted, such a whiner. And that's why we see all this toddler-like reaction from him. But Mike Lindell, this guy is a former crack addict and got into recovery, which kudos to him. I commend that. But imagine going through that whole process of rehab and, coming back from smoking crack, and you make this pillow company, and you sell pillows to all these Fox News watchers. And then you decide that you're a voting expert and you lose all of your money and you're raving about spoliation. Is that a legal term?
It's not It's not spoilation. Spoilation.
Okay.
So he pronounces it wrong.
Okay.
I mean, of course he does. But what I found interesting about this little clip was, if you saw in the corner, there's a big cross underneath his headline. And let us not forget, Fox News paid almost $1 billion for lying about Dominion voting systems. He is not going to reinvent the wheel on this. He knows he's wrong, but he's so psycho, he can't admit it. And here's the deal. He is dead ass broke, cannot even pay his attorney's fees. He has bankrupted himself in favor of Donald Trump. It is crazy to me.
Pumps, the point you bring up about Fox paying nearly $1 billion for lying to their viewers, and the fact that Democratic strategists have not used that and hammered that over and over and over and have it catch fire like a virus across all different silos, that they just do that there's a deference. Oh, the patriarchy gets to lie. Donald Trump gets to lie. And then we just defer to that. And then we just move on, because I think the Democrats operate under so much assumption politics. Mm-hmm. They assume, oh, people hear that Fox News is lying to their viewers, and so they're not going to watch it anymore. But in fact, it makes them that much more plugged in. That's the whole personality cult. But here is Mike Lindell. Here's a headline from the same news conference. The MyPillow CEO had harsh words for Lucifer, claiming that anything done with a computer could be vulnerable to hell's influence. Mike Lindell says Satan rigged the voting machines in 2020. This is a headline from yesterday, and we talk about this a lot here on iHip News, and that is the magical thinking at the core of the MAGA movement, all of this spiritual warfare where they believe that that Trump is God's angel, his imperfect vessel. The Democrats are Satan. And here you see it just echoed all throughout the most loyal followers of the Trump cult. And he just says that with cameras in front of him. The Satan Lucifer stuff, like that's normal or even real.
Well, we have the third in line to the presidency running around saying he's Moses. God told him he was Moses. So this is right on brand for MAGA. It's just, when you said Lucifer, I was like, who the fuck is Lucifer? And then I was like, oh my God, he's talking about, oh my gosh.
The devil.
The devil. Like, that's where we are in politics. The Speaker of the House is Moses. According to him, God told him he was Moses. And Mike Lindell thinks Satan is rigging voting machines. That's how far we've come.
Well, but this has been a decades-long play from the religious right. Yes. And they have embedded themselves into mega churches all across the heartland of the United States. The number one goal of these mega churches is to recruit and grow. And they get people in, they get them to feel bad about critically thinking. That's a sin. To question, is Satan real? Is he plotting against me? Is Satan rigging voting machines? And so you have all of these people that have been encouraged to not critically think. And it is a cancer in the United States of America. And it is a cancer at the epicenter of the MAGA movement. If you could get these people to critically think, they would come to the conclusion, oh, I see, they're lying. They're lying to me because they don't want to pay taxes. They're lying to me about immigrants and drag queens and trans people and gay people because they want to take the eye off the ball as to all the evil shit they're doing, and for me to focus on these others. And so this has been a decades-long attack, and it has infiltrated so many different facets of American culture. And I don't think people in the Beltway realize how powerful this is, and that when Caroline Leavitt and others wear their cross, that when a viewer, an average viewer that's maybe somewhat political but not really, sees a person like Caroline Leavitt say something with her cross on, she's lying her ass off. They think, oh, well, she wouldn't lie. She's a good Christian girl.
That's right.
And so it's Christian signaling to the deeply indoctrinated people that run around. And listener, living in Oklahoma, I mean, the recruiting of evangelical Christianity is exhausting. It puts the multi-level marketing stuff to shame. The recruiting is a full-time job for these people. And when you think about it from a psychological standpoint, it's so codependent and toxic. It's none of their business to go into people's lives that are seemingly functional, maybe go to church, maybe don't go to church, and tell them how they should believe, what they should do. I have fallen prey to this my entire life. And the people who do this are at the epicenter of this MAGA movement. Recently, there was an acquaintance I kind of vaguely know, and she posted on social media an image of her 3 sons that are probably like age 7 to 12 on vacation, all wearing Gulf of America hats.
Oh, gosh.
But she is a big Bible mom, a big Bible thumper, a big Trump thumper, a big triple Trumper. And to think about the dissonance of what the central character of Christianity discusses, what's important to him, and then what Trump discusses and what's important to him, and that they are able to meld those two together and somehow assume that Trump is somehow God's imperfect angel and vessel is just breathtaking stupidity.
Well, I think to take it a step further, having grown up in an evangelical church, you have not only am I going to tell you how to live, I'm going to tell you who to marry, and I'm better than you. So I can tell you that. I am above you. I can tell you what to do because you don't know what's good for you as much as I do. And that is a huge, huge problem. And I'm telling you, it's rampant. Every single one of them would sit there and say that.
No, it is so rampant, and it is something that in order for us to get the heart and soul of this country back on track, it's something that has to be called out. This religious hypocrisy, it has to be addressed. It has to be confronted. And they're going to, oh my God, Christians are persecuted. They're going to go bananas. But they weaponize their religion to do evil shit. Full stop. That's what they do. But speaking of people in the Trump cult, I always like to keep a little eye on Trump's spiritual advisor, Paula White, tongue talker, complete nut job, grifter, con woman, total criminal who Trump has exalted up to be the spiritual advisor to the president. Gag. Play the clip.
No to President Trump would be saying no to God. And I won't do that.
And any tongue that rises against him will be condemned according to the word of God.
It is God that raises up a king. It is God that sets one down. And so when you fight against the plan of God, you're fighting against the hand of God.
Okay, so this is all that spiritual warfare shit. And I didn't grow up in any of this. My parents were atheists. And I dodged the bullet living in the Bible Belt. But when my friends growing up would first tell me about this spiritual warfare, I was like, what do you mean spiritual warfare? It sounds so dramatic. But there is a large segment of the American population that traffic in Southern Baptist, these mega churches where they're non-denominational. Those are the most insidious. And they think that, like right now as we're sitting here in this room, there are angels for God and there are angels for the devil. And you can imagine with everything that we're saying, what the evangelical would think was winning in this recording studio right now. It would be exactly what Mike Lindell says about Satan rigging the voting machines. This is insanity. And you have millions of Americans that believe this crap. And that is how they jump to supporting MAGA, because there's no critical thinking. They are told, here is your belief system. If you question it, it's a sin. And that's Satan winning in the spiritual warfare battle. And so those of you that live in big blue cities that you don't have this dominant MAGA culture, Christian evangelical culture, I have to tell you, this is very real. And I just want to leave you all with this. This is Elon Musk, a tale of two tweets regarding ketamine. Kylie put this up. In 2024, he says, my tolerance for ketamine is unlimited. May 31st of 2025, he says, I'm not on ketamine for fuck's sake. And so, I just think it's important to note that the internet is forever. And we have, on top of all of these crazy Christians that are at the epicenter of excusing everything that Trump does so that he can do very evil things, taking away food and medications from poor people, which I would think the central character, Jesus Christ, would be for. He also is surrounded by untreated drug addicts, which if any of you have been around a raving alcoholic or a drug addict, you don't want them to be in charge of anything. But in Trump's administration, he's like, yeah, here's the checkbook to the Treasury. Yeah, have 19-year-olds named Big Balls come in and wreck everything. All right, listen, order our book. It's called Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. The link is pinned right below, and we'll see you all later.
So Trump's FEMA director doesn't know it's tornado season. You see, that's what happens, people, when you let a dingbat hire dingbats, okay? You know, what makes people think that a person like Trump, who's cruel, dumb, lazy, incompetent, can't also be dangerous? Okay? Trump is dangerous. And, you know, I feel like, you know, some of these people here that support him, as I often, you know, sometimes I get replies on the videos, more so on my other web pages and stuff that I frequent. And these people really, they just they always come to the game unprepared. You know, they keep spouting the same old shit that they were spouting a year ago during the campaign. And much of what they'd been saying back then has been proven to be false. And in a lot of cases, didn't happen. And the thing is that while MAGA wants to live in its own little world, they get helped to do so by being part of this religious cult that was spoken about in the video here by the iHip girls. You know, talking about how the core of MAGA really was created by fundamentalists, okay? And I've always said that the religious right in this country had too much grip over our government, okay? Church and state are supposed to be separate, but not in the United States, okay? They just look at that as an idea on paper that you can take or leave. But the fact is, we've ignored that philosophy, and it's led us here. It's led us here. And think what you want about Trump as a person, but he wouldn't be sitting in the White House if it wasn't for the religious right. Okay, they bankrolled him to get back into the White House, not once, but twice, okay? Even though this man does not represent anything of Christianity, his very past, his history is so connected more to Lucifer than to Jesus Christ, okay? But yet the Christians push Trump into this job thinking he's a gift from God. Oh, really? So if you guys are standing there watching this man rape a woman, you would still say he's a gift from God. Is that what MAGA's about? Okay? Because I have to wonder. I mean, some of you people question me that I don't know what MAGA's about. But I'm telling you right now, I know it better than you do. And the fact is, you guys are hiding from it. You guys are hiding from the real reason why you voted for Trump. And it's not because, oh, we don't want wars. You know, let's table that for a minute. Just because we're not fighting in another country right now doesn't mean we are not having our own war right here at home. The war against Trump and the American people. He's trying to kill this country. Okay? Tariffs, cutting Medicaid, cutting into benefits for veterans, you know, cutting all over the place. You don't think that's a war? You don't think that's a fucking war? You got more people out on the streets now than you ever saw during the fucking 70s, okay, when they were protesting the Vietnam War. Tell me this isn't a war. Okay? And it's getting more violent. We're deporting people who have no due process to prove that, oh, they're criminals, okay? No, we're just picking people up at random and throwing them over to wherever, El Salvador, okay? You don't think that's a war? Well, folks, I can tell you right now, it ain't peace. What's going on? It's not peaceful. There's a lot of angst out there right now. This summer's heating up. There's all kinds of rage. The weather's nice, so people are getting out on the fucking streets and they're raising hell. Okay, and it's going to get worse. And as this goes on, Trump's approval rating continues to sink. Your man, MAGA's core man here that they pushed into the White House for a second time, he's not so popular anymore now, is he? So, I don't know about MAGA. I don't know what MAGA is. Yeah, I think most of America knows what MAGA is, which is why so many people are so pissed. Okay? That's why so many people are pissed. Especially a lot of MAGA people who voted for him realize now they've fucked themselves. And if you're still one of those people who think Trump is the greatest thing since sliced bread, hey, I can't change your mind, okay? Obviously, you're one of those fucking loyalists, hypocritical loyalists. You people will follow him no matter what he does. So what can I, a simple American, with common sense and critical thinking skills, what could I possibly tell you that's going to change your fucking mind? Now, I always said, the only way people ever learn anything in this country is if they learn it the hard way. And that's what we're going through right now. This is the only way we're changing minds here, changing support against Trump. They have to go through this hell first. Okay? I cannot tell you in any fucking way, any artful way, any diplomatic way, okay, about Trump and how wrong he is for America. No, you see, when it comes to politics, people have a blinders, and it's blinders against the truth. They are only focused on the path ahead to victory. That's it. They don't want no interference from anybody telling them you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Okay? So, what can I tell? What can I possibly say? Hey, some of you guys watching my video, hey, I'm glad you're watching. That means you might be taking just a little tiny step in my direction, even if you don't like what I'm saying. You still listened. And that's something. Because I could not have gone to you face to face and said, will you please watch my video? It's against Trump. You would have said, fuck you. You never would have watched it. But because you went on it on your own accord, and I didn't have to say anything to anybody to watch these videos, okay? You came to it and you watched it. Okay? That tells me you're not 100% sure about Trump. You still wanted to hear something. Okay? And even though you walked away gritting your teeth and everything and you wrote nasty comment and whatever, okay, I still won because you listened. All right? And that's basically all I'm trying to do with these videos is get people to listen. Okay? To let them know, hey, it ain't this big hunky-dory world out there where everything is your way. No, there are victims out there of this man. People you don't want to fucking look at, all right? Because I know you don't look at people that are homeless. You just drive right on by, okay? I know you do this. There's people in this country who are victims of this economy and of Trump. And you don't want to hear about that. You only care about your own little life, all right? You're so focused on number one that you don't care about, how other people who contribute to the economy, who make it churn, so there's jobs. You don't care how they're doing, and you should, because in America, we are a community. One hand washes the other, and both hands wash the face. Okay? You cannot do, one thing cannot just work on its own without having the assistance of the rest. All right? You want a good economy, you have to help out the working class. All right? You got to give them jobs, you got to give them decent pay, which is something Republicans can't even guarantee or even want to do. All right? Because, hey, that goes against their big money donors, right? So you people are on the wrong side of the fucking equation. I don't know if you realize that. The only party that's ever tried to do stuff for the working class has been Democrats. But you people in MAGA who have been in the Republican Party have never been happy with the way the country is, and you keep backing the sons of bitches who keep sticking it to you every chance they get. Like I said, there's nothing that I can say that could actually convince MAGA people out there how ridiculous their stand is with Trump. Okay, I can't. I just can't. I could put all the videos that I find up there for the rest of my life, And you people will still not understand until something happens to you. Okay? Until something happens to you, and then you wake up. Then you wonder, oh, I thought he was going to help me. Oh, I thought this was going to be a good time with Trump as president. No. Whatever happens to you, okay, it might be a big event in your life. It won't be of any surprise to the rest of us because we're expecting that, because we know what Trump is. Wouldn't you like to be able to dodge bullets before they come to you? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you like to be able to do that? You guys stood right in the path of a fucking bullet and you took it right in the head. You took it right in the head, and you guys are sitting here crying. Some of you MAGA anyway. Some of you people crying about it. But wouldn't it be nice, huh? If somebody could come along and say, geez, I wish somebody would have told me this guy was lying. You know, I feel like, you know, you people really, because you live in a bubble, you think things are going on that are not going on, or things that are not going on that are going on, okay? I mean, it's like living in an opposite world for you guys. It has to be very, very trying to, as a MAGA person, to live in a society that deals with reality while you sit in your little corner and make up your own world, make up your own fantasies, okay? I mean, I remember how people used to get, you know, all up in the air about Star Trek fans. Oh, these people are a bunch of nerds that live in their basements. You know how many MAGA people that are you could describe as folks living in their parents' basements? Okay. A lot of these people that made videos saying, I lost my job, or I can't afford to pay the rent. These are folks who tried to make it on their own, okay, by getting out of their parents' basements, voted for Trump, and now they're fucked. Okay? Think about that for a minute. This is who they are. These are the fucking people that, you know, we could call as your basement nerds, okay? They're political nerds. They're the MAGA nerds, okay? That's who these people are. They're loyal to an idea, which is not what MAGA is, by the way, okay? What they think MAGA is not what it is. They're just loyal to this perception of what they think MAGA is. And then they get mad when somebody like me comes along and says, you guys got it all backwards. But like I said, they have to learn it the hard way. They got to learn it the hard way. So it doesn't do any good to waste breath arguing with these people. But what it does do is it makes them think, because like I said, they went here and they clicked on, you know, some of my videos in the past, okay, and they watched it, and they walked away mad enough they wanted to write something. The fact is, they watched it, and that's the step they have to take to, you know, every goal, every movement to a goal starts with a first step, and it's little baby steps to get to it. Okay, you have to lure them in to watch it, and then they watch it. Okay, so I'm not gonna be bullied to, you know, say, oh, I'm upset at MAGA, oh my god, I shouldn't do any more videos. Oh, fuck that. The videos will continue, and you people are gonna watch. Okay, you know you're gonna watch. I get more people who watch these videos that comment. All right, so I know a lot of people watching are those of the MAGA ilk. Okay, so thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my stuff. It gives me a little bit of pride knowing that, hey, people are interested in what I gotta say. All right, and for those who are not MAGA but you watch anyway, I'm grateful that you're watching too. I want you to know you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there like me who understand that this shit ain't right. What Trump's doing, what he's doing ain't right. The rest of the world knows it ain't right either, and they feel sorry for the country that we're suffering with this son of a bitch. Okay, but that's the way it is. Okay, the minority group that thinks Trump is great has to suffer the hardest in order for them to come around and say, okay, you were right. Of course, they'll never say that. You know that. These people are so arrogant, they wouldn't even admit that they're getting pissed on when people are dumping it on their heads by the buckets. Okay, they wouldn't care. They just want to own the libs. That's all they care about. And there are stupid little phobias that they have, and racism. That's the only thing that they care about. this thing about, oh, well, Trump isn't bringing any war. Hey, the wars are already happened right here at home, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up in a war with China or Russia or some other damn thing before he's out of office, okay? I will not be at all surprised. So, you guys shouldn't be holding your breath on that, okay? But Mike Lindell, what a fucking clown. You know, he's still going around bitching about the fucking 2020 election. It's like, hello, Lindell, that's like yesterday's news. It's already been debunked 50,000 ways from Sunday, you know. Fox News had to pay a hefty fine for trashing Dominion Corporation there, okay? It's like, you're still out there selling the shit that's already been proven wrong. Oh, that guy is such a they say, what, he's a recovered crack addict? That's what she said? He's still got to be taking it. I mean, he's dumber than Trump. He really is. And what's his legacy? Pillows. He's a pillow man. He's a fluff man. That's what he is. He's a pillow man. Okay? He made his name, but now he's broke. Now he's ruined because he ran his mouth too damn much, backed the wrong chickens, okay? And now he's toast. He can't I guess they said you can't be on TV anymore or something like that. I can't remember how the judgment went on him. But he's banned from TV. That was, you know, part of the agreement, I guess. So he can't do commercials or infomercials or anything like that. I don't know about his My Pillow company. That's probably gone. I can't say. I mean, how can you make a fortune or make a legacy on pillows? I mean, a pillow is a pillow, right? You know, it's like saying, oh, I got a market in underwear, you know, whoopee. You know, underwear is underwear. Christ, I mean, a pillow with such a, you know, he tries to make it sound like it's some big thing that, you know, that nobody else has, right? You know, Christ. I don't know. It's, you know, this country's is got a blessing that people like Lindell can make a fortune, okay? But it comes with a price. If you want your fortune to stay alive, you got to stay the hell out of politics. Go ask Elon Musk. Minute you get involved in the arena of politics in this country, and you take the wrong side because you're not seeing which way the wind's blowing, you could end up losing your fortune just like that. You know, your company will just dissolve as if it never existed. And that's the thing about people that have businesses. You should stay out of politics. Don't get involved in it. It's like Target there and their DEI crap that they were attacking. Okay, hey, that hurt them big time last year. People just were boycotting them. You know, stay the hell out of politics. Run your business. Run your fucking business. But if anybody asks you where you stand politically, you just say, I can't comment. Don't comment. All right? Because politics in this country is a fucking blood sport. Always has been. And the reason that it is because we people have the right to speak our minds about how we feel about politics at any given moment. Okay? And right now, when you have a president as controversial as Trump is, and doing the things that he's doing, politics is going to be such a heated thing to talk about. People don't even want to mention it in public or even talk about it in a restaurant for, you know, fear that someone's going to get irritated and do something, because it happens. You know, somebody on the other side will hear that and, you know, throw a drink at you or something. I mean, I've seen things like that happen. You know, even in this somber state of Maine, I've seen fights break out over politics in the middle of church. Okay, and I feel like, you know, hey, that's something like my father always says. You don't talk about two things in life around other people in public, and that's religion and politics, because it's going to get you into trouble. You know, and so I feel like there's a lot that needs to be said in our current situation with President or dictator wannabe Trump. Okay, there's a lot of things that need to be said about this guy and his administration, and So there's ways to tell, to talk about it that doesn't, get people in trouble where the police have to get involved. Okay? These videos is one way. Okay? People are going to watch and they'll absorb what they want to absorb out of it. Okay? But, people have to talk about it. If we don't talk about it, that's the danger, is when people just bottle it up and don't say anything. Okay? Because then people don't understand. Conversation brings out understanding. And people shouldn't feel like they can't really discuss anything about it. Okay? But you have to choose the place and the time to do it. And, for a lot of people, I think they've learned over the years, especially with the internet, the internet allows for a lot of talk about things like that. So I'm hoping, more people will come and visit my channel here on YouTube, especially more MAGA. I want more MAGA people watching, because I tell you right now, they're the ones that really need to listen to what I got to say. And they need to listen to it over and over and over again. Play the same video multitude of times and just brainwash yourself with what I'm saying, because you need to unlearn everything you have learned that puts you where you are now. You have to unlearn it. And that's not an easy task, especially for you older people that are my age or older. You people are like old dogs trying to learn new tricks. But you're gonna have to listen. Okay? You gotta listen, because if you don't, you're gonna keep repeating the same fucking steps that brought you back here, that brought you back to this problem. All right? So fucking learn this time, will ya? Learn from your mistake. Learn for the sake of everybody else you don't give a shit about. Learn. I'll talk to you guys later.